Coming up, Uzbekistan is interested in Kazakh agricultural innovations. Stay tuned to learn more about the prospects of regional partnership in new technology sphere. The Sounds of Music. Kazakh composer Aygerim Silova will showcase her new work in Hamburg. "70 days left until the start of the Winter Olympics in Beijing. How athletes from Kazakhstan are preparing for the competitions. Watch next. Trade between Kazakhstan and Belgium has exceeded $300 million since the beginning of the year. Kazakhstan exports non-ferrous metals, textiles and chemical products to that European country, while Belgium exports to Kazakhstan machinery, electrical equipment, optical instruments, as well as products and goods of the chemical industry. Business people of the two countries intend to reach agreements on the export of flax. Belgium is a major consumer of this type of herbaceous plants grown in Kazakhstan. It used to process it and then ship it to China. But the parties now intend to agree to open an enterprise for the processing of this raw material in Kazakhstan and supply it to China. This is convenient for countries in terms of logistics. We support all projects aimed at developing regional cooperation. The European Union is interested in strengthening cooperation with the Central Asian countries. A new European Union strategic program for Central Asia was adopted in 2019. The document extensively describes the relationship between the Central Asian region and the European Union and the cooperation of the European Union member states with the region. The sales market for goods made in Kazakhstan is expanding. The country signed free trade area agreements with Iran, Vietnam and Serbia. These countries are already providing more favorable conditions for access to their markets for Kazakh products. Discussing the terms with Singapore is at the final stage. Negotiations are underway with Israel, Egypt and India. Currently, half of all volumes of export supplies of Kazakh goods accounted for 4 countries: China, Italy, Russia and the Netherlands. New opportunities for the development of business and investment tourism potential of Kazakhstan's capital. A memorandum on cooperation with the leading travel agencies of the United Arab Emirates was signed in Nur-Sultan. According to representatives of the Kazakh side, the document includes long-term strategic objectives. This is attracting investors, hosting major international forums and meetings, as well as establishing partnerships with organizers of business events in UAE. All these experts believe will allow intensifying work to restore tourism field that suffered during the pandemic.
Одной из целей данной делегации визита – это ознакомление с туристическим потенциалом.
One of the goals of this delegation is to learn the tourism potential of Nur-Sultan city and all the possibilities of the Kazakh capital for holding international events, congresses, exhibitions, sports events. The agreement provides for the joint development of tourism as well as promotion of our capital as tourist destination, MICE destination of business tourism abroad, including the Persian Gulf.
За рубежом, в том числе в странах Персидского залива.
Uzbekistan is interested in the agricultural experience of Kazakhstan. 6 Kazakh projects have already attracted Uzbek business people, including innovative greenhouse lamps, veterinary probiotics. According to the director of the Navoiy Free Economic Zone, Habib Abdullayev, Uzbekistan is also keen on technologies that allow saving water and electricity and using alternative sources. Kazakhstan is well advanced in this field. Domestic farmers use similar methods in their farms everywhere, experts noted.
Узбекистан, в общем-то, только последние несколько лет стал полностью открыт для мира. До этого у нас, в общем, достаточно было.
Uzbekistan became completely open to the world only in the past few years. Until this, we had a fairly closed economy. In this sense, of course, Kazakhstan is several steps ahead of us, because the process of liberalization and the improvement of the investment climate began earlier here. Therefore, we follow the same scheme as Kazakhstan in many ways, and this brings us together even closer. Kazakh companies can export their solutions to us. The localization issue is the second stage. They seem to me to be very progressive, viable, and most importantly, in demand.
Ну, они представляются очень перспективными, жизнеспособными и, самое главное, востребованными.
946 cases of the coronavirus infection were detected in Kazakhstan in the past 24 hours. The highest single-day case count was recorded in the capital. 128 people were infected there. North Kazakhstan region comes next with 124 patients registered with COVID-19. The city of Almaty took the third place with its 119 infected people. Since the beginning of the pandemic, the number of coronavirus cases in the country has exceeded 967,000. According to the Kazakh Health Ministry, more than 28,000 Kazakh citizens continue to receive treatment for COVID-19. Nearly 6,000 out of them are in hospitals. 8,008,545 people have been fully vaccinated in Kazakhstan to date. Slovakia is introducing a 2-week national lockdown due to the complex epidemiological situation. It will come into force starting today. Residents will be prohibited from leaving their homes at night and from holding public events. Its facilities will temporarily close. Unvaccinated workers who have not had coronavirus will be required to take weekly tests. Schools will remain open for the time being. In the last 24 hours, Slovakia reported its highest daily rise in new coronavirus cases since the onset of the pandemic of over 10,000. 72% of new patients have not been vaccinated. Almost half of the 5 million population in Slovakia has been fully vaccinated. We have declared a state of emergency. It can last for a maximum of 90 days. We have imposed it for 2 weeks now. In 10 days, the government will review the measures taken to understand and decide what to do next. Italy plans to tighten the restrictions for the unvaccinated. The regulation may enter into force as early as next week. The country will have 2 types of COVID certificates: a green pass, which will be given to residents with a negative test result, and a super green pass for those who have been vaccinated or recovered from coronavirus. Those with just a green pass will only be allowed to go to the workplace and use public transport. This category of people will not be able to attend restaurants, cinemas, theaters, gyms, ski resorts, and entertainment facilities. Thus, the authorities hope to avoid a total lockdown as during the previous waves of the pandemic. Meanwhile, in Germany, a number of additional quarantine restrictions have come into force amid the growing number of coronavirus infections. They affect mostly unvaccinated residents of the country. Germany's public transport system has recently introduced rules following which passengers will now have to show proof that they are vaccinated, recovered, or have taken a negative test in order to travel. I am in favor of mandatory vaccination, especially for those in constant contact with people like teachers and doctors. It's terrible that people try to forge vaccination documents. All of us who are vaccinated are suffering because of them. Efficient cooperation between the government and business. Over 60 billion tenge of investment has been attracted over the last 5 years for the implementation of 16 public-private partnership projects in Nur-Sultan. Of them, more than 11 billion tenge were foreign investment, announced spokesperson for Astana Invest, Nurbol Altayev. According to him, the implementation of 7 public-private partnership facilities has been planned in Nur-Sultan since 2020. Most of them are educational projects, namely the construction of innovative schools of a new format.
На сегодня заключен договор по 5 школам, благодаря которому у нас сокращено дефицит ученических мест на...
As of today, an agreement has been concluded for 5 schools, thanks to which we have reduced the shortage of student places by 20,000. Another school is currently under negotiation, and we expect to have a contract by the end of the year. That makes 6 schools. 1 school opened in September this year, and 3 more are expected to open by the end of the year. The advantage of these schools is that they have expanded laboratories for physics, mathematics, and chemistry, as well as movie rooms, co-working centers for teachers and students, robotics and nanotechnology laboratories.
Коворкинг-центры для учителей и учеников, лаборатории робототехники, нанотехнологий.
Overall, since the adoption of the public-private partnership law, more than 1,300 joint projects have been implemented throughout the country, totaling about 1.2 trillion tenge. In addition to education, they are represented in the fields of medicine, culture and sports, manufacturing, agriculture, energy and housing, and transport and infrastructure, as well as finance and insurance. The set of principles voiced by the first president of Kazakhstan, Nursultan Nazarbayev, will become a key guideline for domestic use in the new era. Important priorities for the development of the country were set on the eve of the celebration of the 30th anniversary of independence. Larisa Pavlovits, a member of the Majlis, a lower house of the Kazakh parliament, said, in her opinion, the seven pillars of statehood will allow young citizens to strengthen and multiply the achievements of independent Kazakhstan, as well as preserve national values. New times bring new challenges. In order to be prepared for them, the younger generation needs to engage in self-development, upgrade their skills, be patriots of their country, and contribute to its development.
За эти 30 лет было рождено 9,5 миллионов детей. Это действительно...
Over the past 30 years, 9.5 million children were born. It is indeed a new generation that at the present day must embody all the ideas, all the platforms that were started earlier. They must continue to work to improve the talent pool and to boost the economic, educational and scientific aspects of our country. It is what a new generation should do, which definitely will not let us down.
Нашей страны. То есть это залог нового поколения, которое должно не подвести нас.
The premiere of the opera by Kazakh composer will take place in Germany. Aygerim Siyilova will present a multimedia opera in English in Hamburg. The premiere of classical music in a new style will be held in early December. Based on the Soundmeyer system, it allows listeners to completely immerse themselves in the melody because all 360 degrees of sound are covered. The harmonious combination of electro and live music will send listeners on a virtual journey. 25 international experts were involved in the creation of a large-scale event. Its implementation took about 2 years.
Это 90-минутное произведение для солистов, для оперных
It's a 90-minute piece for soloists, for opera singers, and for small chamber orchestra, with a video installation, with a video of an artist that completely replaces the set design. And there will also be electroacoustics, which means sensors and electronic sounds will be used in addition to live sound.
сенсоры, электронные звуки.
The presentation of Siyilova's work will mark the 30th anniversary of Kazakhstan's independence. She is proud to represent her homeland in the field of composing with her original sound language. Siyilova is the author of about 200 pieces for one or several instruments and chamber orchestras. Her compositions are performed by the most famous musicians on the best stages in the world. She is the recipient of the Hindemith Prize, which is awarded annually to only one of the world's greatest composers. Kazakh athletes are actively preparing for the Olympic Winter Games, which will take place in Beijing from February 4th to 20th. Now almost 50 Kazakh athletes are training in specialized facilities around the world. The team of Kazakhstan plans to compete in 93 sports programs in the Winter Olympics. High hopes were placed on freestyle mogul skiing, freestyle acrobatics and short-track speed skating. The final composition of Kazakhstan's team at the Olympics in Beijing will be determined in January.
Мы отправляем наших спортсменов на зарубежные учебно-тренировочные сборы, где есть хорошие...
We send our athletes to foreign training camps in other countries that have good sports facilities and sparring partners. They have joint trainings. Surely now they are preparing for our main sports competitions. These are licensed starts. We plan to take part in freestyle mogul skiing, freestyle acrobatics, skating, short-track speed skating, ski jumping, biathlon, cross-country skiing, double event.
Спорт, шорт-трек, прыжки с трамплина, биатлон, лыжные гонки. Ну, двоеборье, планы есть.
The 13th Paralympics Winter Games will open in Beijing as well. The event will take place on March 4th. Kazakh sports people will also participate in the competitions. They are preparing for their main start too. Athletes will compete for 78 sets of medals in 6 sports.